Meghan Markle stepped out in a new interview for Harper's Bazaar. Meghan's moment, where she dared to discuss the bravery of making jam. Talk about bizarre. Welcome to Popcorn Palace. I am Andy Signor, and yesterday we had to talk about Meghan's trailer for holiday special. Today we got to talk about this Harper's Bazaar interview, which also dropped yesterday. After years of being subsumed by other people's narratives, the Duchess of Sussex is ready to author her own next chapter. Guys, how many times has she done this? How many times does she have to come back out and talk about how everybody speaks for her, yet she's always reinventing herself, always bringing her voice back? At what point do we say, girl, you've had plenty of opportunities to bring your voice back. Enough. Nobody just wants to hear it. But yeah, it's absurd. This interview is filled with so many weird moments. A gushing article, mind you, about the bravery of making jam, about how she makes mistakes. Oh, she's no such thing as perfect. You know, we got to put the sleeves up. Let's get to work. We got to read this article together. Are you ready? Let's do this together. I know it's tough, but I'll be your commentary, okay? Welcome, everybody. Make sure you've hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. A cluster of white tents has been set up by the Brea Tar Pits, the active fossil dig site Natural History Museum in LA, to receive a group of girls from a local STEM academy. You know, a private event at the Brea Tar Pits for the STEM Academy. One tent near the entrance is appointed with a handsome, worn-looking wooden desk with a tarp hanging behind it that's printed with a reproduction of a nature painting. It looks like the movie version of an archaeologist's field station. The 11 and 12-year-olds in their purple and gray uniforms are unaware of who they are about to meet. Who could it be? It's a warm September day, and I can hear them murmuring outside the tent because, you know, there's nobody 11 and 12-year-olds want to meet more than Miss Meghan Markle, the Duchess. A golf cart pulls up, the gravel crunching beneath the tires. Is it The Rock? No. Is it Billie Eilish? No. The Duchess of Sussex, someone in the scrum announces. Meghan descends dressed in wide-legged trousers, a silk blouse, and a small pair of paved diamond studs by the Ukrainian brand Guzma. They were a gift from her husband, Prince Harry, picked up on a recent trip to Kiev with his Invictus Group Games Foundation. Look at, they're already like, oh my God, the royalness of these two. Meghan lives just a few blocks from here as a child. She mentioned that this is where she rode on the back of her mother's bike before she was allowed to ride on her own. Oh, so she's just going Meghan from the block, just back on the block to see everybody, all the kids who must be so excited to meet a Duchess. Everyone is ushered into the tent where a table is set up with boxes full of dirt and bone specimens. A museum educator begins to explain what they're looking at. Meghan is attuned to the girls. She asks one about her nails, another about what she's studying. When a girl mentions her love of languages, Meghan lights up. I'm learning French on Duolingo. I just hit a 90-day streak. How much would I bet that was preordained? Like, she knew she was going to say that at some point. That's just, it's trying to be so relatable, but I don't know. Is it just me? It just feels so fake. Meghan and the girls assemble for a group photo. Some girls look straight at the camera, others squint and stare off to the side, an attempt maybe to stave off self-consciousness, or maybe they just didn't want to be there in a photo with Meghan Markle. This is a time for many girls when they become aware of being seen, something benevolently more often not. Meghan, 44, stands in the middle of the group. She lives a life accompanied by a level of scrutiny that every tween girl imagines is always present. Except for Meghan, it is very real. I don't know how many women could see a young girl and not see herself in her, especially that age. Oh, I see myself in all those girls. Dude, girl, put some shoes on. What's going on? Yikes. When Meghan became engaged to Prince Harry in 2017, it triggered a tectonic shift in the culture. Jeez, this is a puff piece. Already an actress on the popular cable drama Suits. It wasn't that popular back then. It was okay, but it was not as popular as it became later. And the purveyor of an aspirational lifestyle brand, The Tig. Meghan shot to global superstardom and became the subject of an intense public fascination, made up of equal parts adoration and vitriol. The contrast in Meghan and Harry's backgrounds: she was American, he was British, she was working actress from a modest family. He was a royal, she was biracial, and he was a symbol for an imaginary monoracial Britain. Scrambled multiple narratives. Depending on your perspective, they're Unions symbolize the triumph of liberal, post-racial matriarchy and the downfall of traditional conservative values. In 2020, when the couple announced their intention to step back from royal duties, you mean give up, they moved to California. The tabloids dubbed it Megxit. It was a cultural inflection point. Was this a refutation of generational trauma or millennials being afraid of hard work? Definitely the latter. In all those stories, though, Meghan lost her agency and her humanity. There's no such thing as perfect. I too get to make mistakes. Do you? I didn't think duchesses get to make mistakes. I'm so glad to hear it. You're finally being so much more relatable. There's also not a lot of fun in trying to be perfect. So why try to do that if you want to have fun? What's with all the caps? Meghan understands her voice is better than you. Wait. Oh, sorry. Meghan understands her voice better than you. Okay, got it. Better than any producer could put out there. Former executive of Harpo, Oprah's company. Wow, Oprah's really leaning in more for her, huh? She produced the 2020 Oprah interview with Meghan and Harry after they stepped back from the royal family, and that she's still being asked about it all these time later. After they stepped back from the royal family, its airing triggered an aftershock. You could say that. And worked with Meghan on the production of her podcast, Archetypes. She knows how she comes across. She knows how she wants to connect. She understands that so much has been written about her that when she does something, she wants to break through that noise so people see that she is authentically trying to be herself. I think she's trying too hard. Meghan has acquired a level of fame that is irrevocable. The question becomes, what does one woman do with that amount of power and tricky sort of influence? How does she deal, guys? In the 5 years since leaving the firm, what some members call the Royal Family Institution that dictates their lives, Meghan has remained focused on the projects she has built for herself and that fit her lifestyle as a mother of young children. Prince Archie, Princess Lilibet, together with Prince Harry, she launched the nonprofit Archewell in 2020 with the mission to show up and do good. The dumbest mission statement ever. She has signed development deals with Spotify and Netflix. She lost one and she got the other one downgraded. Her lifestyle series With Love, in which she invites friends to a Nancy Meyers-esque California home to cook, craft, and garden, coincide with the launch of her brand As Ever, which sells scented candles, preserves, flower sprinkles, and wine. After years of others attempting to fit her into their narrative, she is now pursuing a life and career that feels authentic to her and her alone, and allowing herself to enjoy it too. You enjoy it, girl. You enjoy that life as a princess who has nothing else to do, so she must build her own brand that she has all this money from because she has a prince. The appearance of the Brea Tar Pits has wrapped, and now it's lunchtime at the Polo Lounge at the Beverly Hills Hotel. I've followed Meghan underneath the iconic green and white striped awning of the entryway and through the cream carpeted lobby and outdoors on the patio where a live piano player notes accompany our procession. Long the C&B scene for Hollywood deal-making and politicking, it's a calculated choice as the site for my first interview with Meghan. By who? Her or you? Who made that calculated choice? We are ushered to a circular table at the corner of the garden, a prime seat where we can see the other diners, and they can see the three of us. The Sussex chief communication sits between us. We order a burger and fries for the table, and Meghan orders the Polo Power Bowl. We're really getting details. When it arrives, she holds up the dish, taking genuine delight in the perfectly arranged produce, aligned to make a rainbow. She loves making rainbows. During our conversation, Meghan pauses to chat with the restaurateur, Michael Chow. She says his restaurant catered a recent birthday party for Harry, or as H, as she always refers to him, and has whispered conference with a famous film titan. Ooh, she had a whispered conference with a famous film titan. Ooh, how do powerful women flex? They do lead with their deference and dominance. Meghan seems to lead with affability, warmth. Sorry. How much did they pay this woman to write this? The warmth with which she greets each of these men and with which they reciprocate is genuine. It's truly genuine, guys. Harper's Bazaar is admitting it. With me, her interviewer, where the power balance shifts back and forth, she is warm and open, and she always maintains direct eye contact. It's a skill she honed since childhood. I was such a little nerd. Oh, no, you were not. My entire identity was wrapped up in being the smart one. Okay, she was the smart nerd, not like a movie or a comic book nerd. There used to be this show. I'm dating myself, but do you remember Studs? I do remember studs. This is where I am reminded that Meghan, like me, is an elder millennial, born in 1981. We are a maligned bunch, hated by our elders for our generational insistence on authenticity and social justice, derided by those younger for our earnest belief that the world is capable of change. What Gen Z has labeled cringe. Now we get it. This author very much relates to cringe of Meghan Markle. Studs is the elder millennial touchpoint, a dating game show that aired on Fox in the early 90s. Blind Date, Fifth Wheel. I mean, I can think of a Singled Out. There were way better shows than Studs, but I digress. A dating game show that aired at Fox in the early 90s. I distinctly remember my mom and her friends hating it because of how often the contestants used the word buns. After school, kids would enact a little makeshift version of Studs to play. They were like, well, Meghan can be the host. I had the personality type of, I can help coordinate, I can help organize, and I can facilitate. I think I'm probably the same now. Oh, she could have hosted Studs. What an interesting, alternate reality of Meghan Markle. She brings up the girls at the Tar Pits and their vulnerability, which she clearly empathizes with. It's so weird how she dictates this whole thing of, oh, we're gonna have all these young girls that I can refer to later in the interview. And then we'll go to this hot spot where we'll have a Hollywood Titan just happen to stop in during the interview. She clearly empathizes with the girls. It makes sense. Some of those girls are the same age, 11. Meghan was when she graduated from Hollywood Little Red Schoolhouse. sounds like a really, not elite school at all. It's the age that she wrote a letter to Procter & Gamble to protest gender stereotypes. Oh my God, even Brooke Shields. I'm going to make that video too. How Brooke Shields, I find that somehow missed my purview. I'm going to make sure we do that next week. Brooke Shields even called her out after that. I did. That was only recent to me, so stay tuned. Blah, 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 the Procter & Gamble nonsense around the 1910 I don't want to hear this. It was cinematic in a way I don't think many people can understand. It was so visual, smoke everywhere. People were driving around with the back of their SUVs open. I saw people running with boxes of diapers, smashed windows, so much fire and ash falling from the sky that it felt like snow. As we sit at the Polo Lounge, the city is currently at the center of a national fight over the enforcement of the administration's immigration policy, continued deployment of the National Guard. But the city, Meghan says many times over the course of our conversation, is resilient. It was scary, but LA survived it. Still going, dude. For Meghan, the trajectory of her life has come full circle. The Sussexes moved to California in 2020, setting in Montecito, blah, 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 blah. Oprah, Gwyneth, connected with a tight-knit circle of women. Kelly Sajifen, who met Meghan when they were in their 20s. It's a small group of us that protect each other. They had fallen out of touch, but Meghan reached out in 2022 after she found out that her 9-year-old had passed away from COVID. That's sad. The second I heard her voice, it just felt like I was right back with her. She's on board the Alliance of Children's Rights, a nonprofit that supports for children, foster care, yada, yada, all the good things. There's not a day that goes by that she hasn't checked in or I haven't checked in. Someone can show up on time and in need of grief, and oftentimes they don't stay or they're only here for a short time. But Meghan has always made herself available to all of us, except for, Mulroney. You really let her just dangle out there in the Black Lives Matter nonsense, didn't you? When she shouldn't have ever done that. You just threw Jessica Mulroney under the bus. She was like instrumental in the whole hairiness. And nope, see ya, girl. You're. I guess they're calling you racist. I can't engage with you. That's what Meghan does to friends. Not to mention her family. You guys all know. Meghan is of a generation of women who were taught to seek self-actualization through work. The same group of millennial women expressed a radical shift once work was disrupted by the 2020 pandemic. I asked her, despite her extraordinary circumstances, if she's experienced any of the same upending shift. I like the community of work and the connection, Meghan says. I think a lot of it is in my DNA. It's an attitude in contrast to the current trend of valorizing a soft life. That is, a life without work outside the home, with an emphasis on ease, which requires its own level of hidden labor. You should do what works for you, she says diplomatically. For her, though, when people start to see your work ethic and really understand how dedicated you are to things, is that what she's calling it? She's dedicated. That's why she has such staff turnover. How you are in one place, I believe, is how you are in other places. So for me, that's how I show up when I do potlucks at my kids' schools, or that's how I show up when putting a party together for my friend who just had a baby. That's how I show up in my business. How do you have time to do it all? This is such utter BS. Always throwing potlucks and putting with love Meghan parties together while running a business. I don't buy it for a second, girl. Plus, you don't even have a real job. You literally have Prince money coming in, and you have nannies, you have staff. Most working people don't have that, Meghan. You have privilege no one will ever dream of. Most people. I think the moment that you start making all of your personal decisions based on external judgment, then you lose your authenticity. The fear of failure often runs in tandem with the millennial desire to achieve. Best illustrated in the specter of the girl boss. When I broach the topic and ask Meghan what she's learned from her mistakes, she deadpans. You learn not to do it again. If it all goes swimmingly, you don't learn from it. If you don't learn anything, you're not going to grow. I'm a mom with kids at that age where they're constantly learning something new. I watch them face things that feel completely insurmountable every day, but you can remember and say, I know it seems really hard right now, but trust me, that's going to come so easily soon. I can give myself the same grace as a founder. There's no such thing as perfect. I, too, get to make mistakes. No, you don't. You're a duchess. Duchesses don't make mistakes. It's also not a lot of fun in trying to be perfect. So why try to do that if you want to have fun? Oh, it's so fun to make mistakes and call your in-laws racist and disown your dad. All that stuff's just so fun. And by her friend Serena Williams, Meghan does, we love a good mimosa. We could talk for 100 hours and it feels like 10 minutes go by. And it's like we never stop smiling. Talk about another person with privilege. She's funny. I think maybe that's surprising to people. At the Super Bowl party. We definitely have a dry sense of humor. I think that's why we hit it off for no reason at this silly football thing. We were just like, why are we here? To meet you? Apparently we've been lifelong friends ever since. So they got together because they didn't like football and Meghan's like, I'm going to get involved with this superstar tennis player, royalty. I don't like things that feel overly realized. If you overwork the dough, it's not going to rise. It's sometimes, I think, the stress that people put on moments that are so consumed in them that you lose the fun of why you're doing something. Not everyone who starts a business is under the microscope that she's under. What she is learning to weather and ride out is the judgment that happens as a businesswoman when you are that famous. When you have that much privilege, the microscope's even greater. How do you deal, Meghan? Oh, you know what? This makes me want to buy 5 more jars of jam to support you in your endeavors. A waiter comes to clear the table, but Meghan asks him to leave the fries behind. I ask her if she ever feels the need to compartmentalize the parts of her life, work and family. My office is right by the kitchen, and I love that I can work from home. It's a great luxury, damn right. Her daughter Little Bit comes and sits on my lap when I'm in the middle of the meeting, whether it's about P&L for my brand or about something creative. I get to just have my kids come in and out whenever they want because, I'm a hardworking businesswoman that really has it tough. My office is next to the kitchen. When I ask Meghan what she hopes her kids see when they see her working, she tells me, I hope they see the value of being brave. It is so brave. I have so much money, kids, but I'm still putting myself out there and working when I shouldn't have to be out there with the schlebs working. How brave of me to get an income of my own and use your father's princedom and exploit it to my own benefit. They saw it when the jam was just a pot on the stove bubbling. When you're young, I think you're a little bit more fearless. As we get older, we lose some of that. Our allotted time at the table is coming to a close. The last of the meal is whisked away, and a waiter comes by with an unsolicited cappuccino. In the foam on top, the restaurant's printed a photorealistic image of Meghan. Oh, she says, smiling, I recognize this picture. That's from our trip to South Africa. Just conveniently, I'm sure no one behind the scenes helped them make that photo. It's lovely and absurd perk of celebrity, and Meghan is tickled enough to take a photo of it. Oh, how she took a photo of it, guys. Someone literally handmade a photo of you on coffee, and she actually took a photo of it. How lucky of the person who put all that work in, who I'm sure was not at all told to do so. When I met up with Meghan a week later on a stormy day in New York, she's wearing black leggings and an oversized sweatshirt, her alma mater, Northwestern. Her hair is pulled back, and if she has any makeup on, it's difficult to tell. Her skin is bare, and some of her freckles are visible. She looks like she could still be in college. We're in a grand brownstone on the Upper East Side that belongs to one of her friends. When I enter, the house manager asks, Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, even though we appear to be the only 2 people in the house. Meghan, again, this is, my God. Meghan and Harry are in the New York to receive Humanitarians of the Year award. So we just had the person stop by as we're receiving our awards in the brownstone of our friends. We decided where we'll have our talk downstairs in the kitchen with its oak countertops and view of the patio. I'm sure this is a cheap place. She gestures towards the 2nd floor of the house, which is accessed via a glass elevator. All those New York brownstones with elevators and multiple stories. Everybody's got one of those, right? In the week since we last met Meghan, she caused a sensation when she made a surprise appearance at the Balenciaga show during Paris. The 2 have known each other for years. I was excited for him. She says, I reached out and I said, happy to come and support you. We kept it a secret. It was fun. You find different ways to protect yourself, whether that's self-preservation or it's just growing up. There's that word again. I love being able to get to do both. Go away. To play in the sandbox with my kids and to play in the front row at a show. I think the moment that you start making all of your personal decisions based on external judgment, then you lose your authenticity. I point out that when women in the public eye are multidimensional, they tend to get a lot of flack. What do you think that is? Meghan asked me. Here I launch into a tangent about our culture's deep and historical distrust of women's voices in public. You know what I mean. I finally say Meghan deadpans again. Well, yeah. I tell her, it sounds like she has good boundaries. I think my boundaries become stronger once I came into the public eye in this very, she pauses and makes a face similar to the one she made when she was talking about making mistakes. I think I could think of any adjective to fill in the blank, and it would probably work. You find different ways to protect yourself, whether that's self-preservation or just growing up. Her circle of trust is tight. She puts her hand on her heart when she talks about her husband. He loves me so boldly, fully, and he has also a different perspective because he sees media that I wouldn't. So he's really watching. Did you see that? He's really watching. No one in the world loves me more than him, so I know he's always going to make sure that he has my back. You have someone who just has the childlike wonder and playfulness. I was so drawn to that, and he brought that out in me. That's translated in every part of our life. Even in business, I want us to play and have fun and explore and be creative. Oh, what a luxury you have to be able to do that. Meghan also credits her mother, Doria, with teaching her how to play. As a child, I was very much an old soul, playing with my dad, who I no longer speak about. That's been part of my writing. My mom would say I was just born that way. Her mother, in contrast, was a free spirit, and they were a close duo, a travel agent during part of her childhood. Oh my God, blah, 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 blah. Raglan would use her employees' discounts so they could travel to Mexico for Day of the Dead. Meghan's maternal grandmother, also a strong single woman, lived around the corner. It was at her grandmother's that Meghan learned about food. Her mother was not a regular cook, but Meghan remembers most of the food at her table being eaten in haste. Carnation instant breakfast shakes in the morning, deli sandwiches for lunch, though there were often an attempt to deliver in Meghan's request to have Subway sandwiches, as she's seen in the commercials. Her grandmother, whose family came from Tennessee, had a garden where Meghan helped pick greens and make preserves. Ah, that's where it came from. And she describes it as a child with close ties, though she says her penning style is very different from her mother's. She's made it a study, using books and apps, a diligence that has made her an authority within her friend circle. She's just so smart, and I feel like no matter what, I can always learn from her. The last time the two hung out, Meghan was talking about this amazing woman who was really helpful in how to talk to, oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm getting so damn bored. How much more is there? Okay, we're getting close. I'm gonna, this is so long. I thought it was a little quicker. Oh my God. Ooh, we're almost there. Don't give up now. Don't give up. We're almost there. Blah, 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 blah. Amazing women in her life, or blah, 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 using books and apps and diligence that's made her an authority within her own friend circle. She's just so smart. I feel like no matter what, I can always learn from her, says Williams. The last time the two hung out, Meghan was talking about this amazing woman who was really helpful in how to talk to kids. I'm implementing so much that she's teaching me. But when Meghan was growing up, her understanding of how to be a mother and girl came from the media as much as it did from the women around her. She spoke of wanting to be a mother because of the capable sitcom mom she watched on TGIF and because of loving Archie comics. Everyone was like, do you want to be Betty or Veronica? Which one do you want to be? Oh, Betty, of course. She was so nice. The LA of Meghan's childhood, diverse working class neighborhoods and Irwin, before it was cool, is gone now. It's been changed by a time, but also decimated by the fire last winter. Pasadena and Palo Alto, Altadena, two of the communities hardest hit, were places she spent a lot of time during her adolescence. I saw homes where I used to have sleepovers reduced to ash. Meghan and Harry both spotted in the aftermath. Volunteering, of course, yeah, not a photo op. It was less about just giving someone a handout, but giving it to them with dignity, she says. Can you treat it with the same level of care you would if you just lost everything? It's nearly time for me to go. Meghan tells me that she'll be having lunch soon with Gloria Steinem, or Glow as she calls her. Oh, I'm just going to see Gloria Steinem next. Have a great day. Who tells people that? Who would? That's such a braggadocious, humble brag. They met during the pandemic. A mutual acquaintance was in their shared pod. Steinem came to Thanksgiving at Meghan's house. I've just always admired her. Meghan is remarkably at ease with the surrealism of global celebrity. In fact, she seems to enjoy it. I bet she does. The house is quiet. The streets outside are too because of the storm. When I walk to the door, I turn. I can see Meghan turn back to the kitchen, illuminated by the green light of the rain-soaked garden, ready to move on to the next thing. Oh my God. Like, they treated her like she's a queen. I'm so damn sick of this nonsense. The bravery of making jam. She can make mistakes too. This author, why don't you just go marry her? My God, or join her cult? That was the most biased, worst piece of journalism I have ever read. Oh my God, I can't even. I gotta go. What do you think? I can't believe we got through it. My goodness. Hit that subscribe, hit that bell. Come on, hit that like for me doing that for you so you can at least hear my commentary over just you. No way you would have been able to get through that on your own without me. You're welcome, I guess. I'm sorry. I don't even know. Stay tuned. Click the videos. We got a lot more coming your way here on Popcorn Palace.